Okay, good morning and welcome to our first lesson here on solving equations with variables on both sides of the equation. This lesson can be used in Math 8 and both algebra. So we're going to do a little basic lesson today and I'm going to give you the steps. All right, so first things first, you're going to use these steps if your equation, you want to check, does it have an equal sign? If it does not have an equal sign, you cannot solve in this way. No equal sign means you can only simplify or make this thing shorter. And is there one type of variable? Meaning, like if there is an m, are they all m's? Or if there's an x, are they all x's? We can't have multiple variables in here. Or if it's m, it's got to be m, and all they have to be m's and no m squared, for example. Okay, so you might want to pause the video and write these steps down a second, and then I'm going to go through them on two of the examples, and then I'll leave the other two for you to solve on your own. Okay, so the steps I'm going to give you to solve these are these. Step one is you want to distribute to get rid of the parentheses if you have them there. So if you notice on my examples here, 1 and 2 don't even have parentheses, so you would skip to step 2, okay? 3 and 4 have the parentheses, so you want to distribute. All right, step 2, you want to combine the like terms on both sides separately. This is important. And on both sides, I mean of the equal sign. I should probably write that in. Of equal sign. So you want to do them separately. So you want to do the left side first and then the right side, or vice versa. And then once you've done that, you can move on to step 3. Step 3 is to cancel then, to get rid of the variables on one side and the constants on, get all the variables on one side and constants on the other. You do this usually by adding or subtracting, okay? And I'll show you that in a minute. And then the final step is to solve for the variable, and you usually do this by multiplication or division if you have to do it and get that far. Okay, so let's move on. If you need to, like I said, pause the video, get the steps down. I'm going to show you what I mean. So the most basic is example 1. I've used this example. Solve 5m plus 2 equal 2m plus 4. Okay, no parentheses, so I can move on to step 2. Combine like terms on either side. Well, the right side has 5m plus 2. There aren't any like terms there, and there's not any like terms on the right side either. So we get to move on to step 3 already. Cancel to get all the variables on one side and all the constants on the other. And that's usually by addition or subtraction. So I like to start with the variables. So in order to get them all on my left side, I would cancel the ones on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel here by subtracting 2m. I can cancel on this side then, but I must make sure I cancel it by subtracting from the m that already exists. Okay, so now 5m minus 2m is 3m. Bring down plus 2 equals now positive 14. So now I have all my variables on my left, but my plain constants here, that means the numbers without the variables, they all need to go to the right. So in order to get rid of the 2, the plus 2, I would subtract 2. Boop. Now to keep it balanced, you want to subtract it on the other side. So if I subtract 2 there, I get rid of it. That brings me 3m on this side equal 14 minus 2 gives me 12. And now on to my final step. I can solve for the variable either by multiplying or dividing. So you want to undo what's there. So this means 3 times m equal 12. So to undo the times, I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to keep it balanced. And finally, I get m equal 4. And that's my final answer. Now you can take 4 and you can substitute it back in for both of these m's and make sure you get an equivalent answer on both sides to see if you are correct. Okay, example 2 is similar to example 1, so for the sake of time, I'm going to move on to example 3 and show you again. So example 3 now, we do have parentheses, right? So we're going to start with our first step, distribute to get rid of those parentheses. So we're going to do that first. Okay, so 2 times 5x gives me 10x. And then I have to make sure that I do it all again with this -1 now. 2 times -1 is -2, and we write it down just as a minus sign. You can't invent more negatives if there aren't any. Equals, I have to do the same on this side. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times 11, positive 11, is positive 33. Okay, now I can move on to step 2. Combine like terms on both sides of the equal sign separately. So if I look at the left side, I cannot combine 10x and -2 because that one doesn't have an x. But if I did, I could put that together. Other side, again, no like terms here. This one has an x and this one doesn't. So I skip to step 3. Cancel to get all the variables on one side and all the constants on the other. I always start with variables. So I'm going to start by canceling that 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x here and keep it balanced by subtracting 3x on the other side of the equal sign from the 10x. So that gives me 10x minus 3x is 7x. Bring down -2 equal, bring down positive 33. Now, what we have is our x's are good. Now we have to get our constants to the other side. So since I chose to put the x's on the left, my constants now have to be out on the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that -2 by adding it, and I'm going to keep it balanced by adding it over here. And of course, I ran out of space, so I'm going to put it over here. 7x is what's left on the left, equals now 33 plus 2 is 35. And then you're to your final step again. We're going to undo this multiplication by dividing by 7 here, divide by 7 over here. X now equals 5, and that's our final answer. Okay, hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any questions, please email me. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Hope you all have a great and wonderful day.